And welcome to Western Australian viewers who join us now for our continuing coverage of the National Championships from the Waverley Netball Centre in Melbourne. Certainly some great matches played through the first 5 days, and didn't the home side Victoria show some character to twice get up by 1 goal. There was little doubt that the right teams made it through to the semi-finals in both divisions. Two quite contrasting matches in the Open. Let's have a look at the first of them now between Victoria and Queensland. With me in commentary, former Australian player Lisa Wilson. Coach Lisa Alexander is confident enough to experiment with her Victorian starting 7. At 19 and 23, Southby and Arnott are young but at ease in this company. Susan Howie and Peter Kennedy are with Australian player Shelley O'Donnell in the midcourt, while former under-21 reps Lynch and Richardson will be very tough to get over or around, so they're resting McInnes and Taverner. Queensland must hope that 20-year-old Michelle Tollinaire will trouble the Vicks with her 192 centimetres of slender height. She's partnered by former ACT rep Amanda Vanderwall. Former Australian under-21 players Kirsten Moore and Tracy Bruce are in the midcourt with Tracy Liso. Sally Millard and Kylie Garrett always give 100% at the back, and they'll need to today to swing the upset. So a quite different Victorian 7 to the one many would have been expecting, but such is the confidence with which they've been playing, and a look at the start suggests why. And Lisa Wilson, Southby, only young, but gee, she's got the skills and the build to be a prominent netballer for some time.
Certainly hit her on the head, Steve. She's a good young player and one that Australia expects a lot of in the future years.
So Howie working at centre and Kennedy at wing defence. O'Donnell now. Southby across to Howie. And McInnes, we think, might be carrying a bit of a cork injury, Lisa?
Yeah, she sustained an injury the other night, and it was a fairly bad cork, and they've obviously decided that, you know, this is a game that they feel very confident can win, and they don't need Simone on the court, so they'll rest her for the big one tomorrow.
Richardson. Howie to Southby. O'Donnell. And Queensland have hardly had their hands on the ball. Let's see if they can move it successfully to the goal third now. Have to go back to go forward. Moore. Vanderwall. Bruce. And the high ball of Tollinaire didn't like the look of it and left it well alone.
Great take from Peter Kennedy. Nice reach over.
O'Donnell, Arnott, and well read by Millard.
Offside wing.
Arnott. There's that slight adjustment for defenders to make, Lisa, with a left-handed shooter, but I guess they played Arnott enough to know that that's coming all the time.
Certainly, and as a defender, you don't always want to use one arm, and you don't always want to put it in the one spot. You're looking to try and upset their rhythm by moving where you're defending, so that's not too much of a worry.
More.
Here you are.
Well, Lisa, you've played in a number of these national championships. It's a very sort of special atmosphere here.
Offside.
And state rivalries run pretty deep.
Certainly do. And it's interesting this year, you know, working with the ACT team at the open level. It's been a great challenge, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's just very different. Oh, we've got the ball. It's very different from the point of view that, you know, played in 8 winning New South Wales teams, so a lot different to see what happens at the other end.
Southby.
Contact, wing defence.
And Arnott. Great start for Victoria through the first 3 minutes.
Throw-in comes across, O'Donnell, great pass along the line, and Arnott finishes nicely.
Barney's offside, centre.
Vanderwall.
Contact.
We'll get another lash at it, and a little closer.
Pass the shot. Short. Victoria.
When you look up and down the court, Lisa, so many of these players have been through the Institute program, haven't they? And Van der Waal was Grassic, of course, on Lynch and Taverner, who's not on court, the Victorian defenders. And really, the Institute program has been responsible for filtering these players through to the top level.
Well, at this stage, I mean, as you said, there's been a lot, and I'm just trying to count up. I can only count 4 players that actually that are on court at the moment, that haven't been through the AIS program. And
Southby's one of them, isn't she?
She is. She's a youngster, and she's felt that her time was better here in Victoria and that her development was being well looked after. So, no, I mean, it's not an essential thing to do. Obviously, from my point of view, being in an AIS cage, we like to see the players down there. We like to work with as many young players as we can.
Southby. 2 for 1, they're scoring against Queensland.
I'm talking about Southby, another good long shot. She's got a great style.
I think we've talked a couple of times about her sporting background. Her dad, a VFL footballer.
She's certainly one of the bright lights for Australian netball. Yeah.
Well, they nearly got away with it, but Millard took the rebound. I think that's an interesting point, whether it's actually a rebound if it never touched the ring.
Yeah, I think a lot of shooters would like to claim that it's a pass. It's gone astray.
Richardson read it well. Southby, Howie and Arnott for 9-4. Yes, indeed.
Richardson's read the play beautifully there. And all the way through Kennedy, onto Southby, across. Nice work from Sue Howie that came through, and Arnott finishes it strongly.
Tollineer at the other end.
Queensland.
And it's off Richardson, so Queensland retain possession. Van der Waal, sandwiched was Tollineer, and there's not a lot of her.
Pass a shot. Just hold pushes to side.
Lisa Alexander on the right. Victorian coach doing a magnificent job this year. At home, some pressure on the Victorian team to do well, and coming to this match unbeaten. They've not let anybody down. Squeezed out a couple of 1-goal wins. One of them come from behind, and the other one holding off New South Wales. So they seem to have done it all, Lisa.
Well, it'll be interesting. You know, we've predicted, and the way the score's going at the moment, it looks like it will be a Victorian win. But I think tomorrow will be interesting. I think both South and New South this afternoon will put on a much better show, whichever one of the two gets through to the final tomorrow.
Van der Waal. Bruce. O'Donnell to Kennedy and Arnott. Garrett spilled over Southby and then gave up the contact. So Vicky Wilson and Liz White, only in their most optimistic moments would they have thought they might win this one, the way things went in their earlier match. 66-37 victory for Victoria, only 24 hours before.
Victoria. Contacting keeper, shuttle pass.
Southby.
Goal defence.
And 11-5. So Federal Minister for Sport, John Faulkner, here, supporting the occasion. Kennedy. And they're spilling what little possession they're getting, although they... What's that, 3 intercepts in as many seconds? But Kennedy a little too close. Tollineer, again, a long way out. But a sweet shot. Lisa, another thing we might point out is that a number of players representing at the senior level would still be eligible for 21s, wouldn't they? I think Tollineer and Southby, 2 of them.
also Susan Howie. So there's a few that are playing in the open level, which is good because they get that harder competition. So, yeah, the Australian 21 selectors have got a big job on their hands, hearing lots of things about the South African 21s and some of the Caribbean nations.
It gives the 21 selectors a lot of matches to watch, doesn't it, if some of their key players are playing in the Opens as well as the 21 matches.
Well, I wouldn't like to be Jill McIntosh at this stage. She needs to watch both Open and 21 matches because she sits on both selection committees.
Getting full value out of our national coach. 12-7. Kennedy fighting hard. She wants a run in the starting 7 in the final, assuming they make it. Howie. Southby.
Offside centre.
Touch from Tracy Bruce, but again, she'd stepped into the circle.
Inside. Yep. Contact and keeper on the arm. Shot or pass.
Contact against Garrett and a goal for Southby.
Australian selectors, Mark Angove on the right, Mark Cowdo in the middle, and of course national coach Jill McIntosh.
Barney's obstruction, goal defence.
Through O'Donnell, under pressure from Tracy Liso.
Play. Contact from behind wing.
Kirsten Moore. Oh, nearly a held ball. Had to get rid of it, and there was nowhere to send it. Kennedy right in the face.
Centre third.
Doing a good job, Kennedy, really putting the pressure on Moore, covering the moves really well.
Two quick players, aren't they, Moore and Kennedy? It's a good duel to watch. High ball up for Tollenaire. Oh, it's a pass and hope.
Certainly was.
Play. Barney's contact.
Richardson,
shoot,
Kennedy. O'Donnell. Southby leads out. Back to Richardson. And they're working the width of the court well. 14-7.
I think one of the things that the umpires occasionally forget, having a defender background, is how to count to 3 seconds when these shooters get the ball.
Yeah,
And that was a very long hold.
I'd agree with you, Lisa.
Queensland. Where you are. Play.
Bruce's throw in. Van der Waal. Minute to go in the first quarter, and it's been a comfortable one for Victoria. Lynch over the top in hope, and Kennedy saw it coming. Howie, again, they're using the width of the court very well. Great vision, pick up their teammates. They're looking very hungry, Victoria. Southby, big and strong. There are too much height at the back for Garrett and Millard.
On the arm, goalkeeper. Shot or
Certainly
pass.
Southby has. O'Donnell. Arnott. Oh. And they both got a piece of it. So a toss-up. Janelle Derrington setting it.
Breaking goal shooter, free pass.
Timekeeper gets up.
Shoot up.
So we may have seen all the scoring we're going to. Queensland trying to get it down there quickly. Oh, I thought Richardson was out. Doesn't matter anyway, as time is blown for an entertaining first 15 minutes. But certainly a quarter that Victoria dominated, even without their best 7 on court. And at quarter time against Queensland in this semi-final, they lead it 15-7. Tracy Bruce gets us underway. Second quarter, Queensland with a lot to do. And first quarter stats, Lisa, Southby had a lot to do and did it well.
Yeah, 92%, excellent shooting from her. The goal attack for...
That's...
Arnott's shot 50%.
Yep.
The Queensland shooter again, both shooters have shot really well. 6 from 7, 85% for Tollenaire. Van der Waal, 1 from 3 for 33.
So it's 19 opportunities to 10. They really just haven't seen enough of the ball, Queensland. Lisa Alexander ought to be well pleased with what's happening out there and having the luxury of resting McInnes and Taverner.
I think that's a wise move from Alexander. Give those players a break, let them come out fresh and fighting for tomorrow's match.
And Lisa enjoyed that year as sort of understudy to national coach Joyce Brown, didn't she?
She did. I'm sure she would have learned a lot from Joyce. I mean, she's one of the best coaches Australia have had for, you know, ever, I guess, when you're talking about Australian coaches. So I'm sure there was a lot of things that she would have picked up and a lot of ideas.
And what's the duration of that position and that they allocate to one of the up-and-coming coaches?
It's generally 12 months. I don't know that anybody's had a second stint at it, but as you said, it's to give some of the up-and-comers a bit of a look at what happens with an Australian team. And I was fortunate enough this year that I worked with Jill McIntosh with the team that went to the World Championships, and you certainly get an insight. I mean, you're there as a player. I've been there as a player, but it's just so different from the coaching point of view, so it was really good to put it all into perspective.
O'Donnell to Arnott. Liso into the circle and offside. Just looking to slow the Victorian attack. 2-on-1 on Southby. He's getting quite a workout from Garrett. And the rebound from Sally Millard.
Yeah,
They need more of that.
Yeah, Sally had a good front position there, which really meant that she got the drive onto the ball.
More to Vanderwall. Better build-up from Queensland here. Nice move at the back from Tollinaire. She got the finish. She has. With a little bit of help from the ring. And I'll take what luck comes their way, I think, when you look at that scoreline. 10 down early in the second. Vanderwall to Bruce. Ah, a touch from Lynch. She just darted out from behind. Vanderwall. Moore. Tollinaire. Touch from Richardson. So Queensland possession.
Oh, an ankle there.
Lynch wants timeout. It's a little clash with Tollinaire, and she rolled the left ankle, I think.
You can just see she's tried to come around and caught her foot on Tollinaire's back leg. Just twisted it.
Tory centre, on the whistle.
Janine Lynch, okay, and Victoria very much in control. Still scoring at a ratio of 2-1. Richardson, Howie, Arnott, Howie. Well, it looked good until the pass sailed over Southby. Didn't really have time to get up for it. It wasn't that much over her head. Wasn't time for the leap though. Millard, everything Queensland do is under some pressure, Lisa.
Certainly are. And to me, that was a perfect opportunity for Millard to give that ball straight on to Garrett and play the ball on rather than let the Victorians set their defence again.
Lisa, Millard. Quicker play on this time. Finds Vanderwall into the corner. Bruce. Off a Victorian hand. Says Janelle Derrington. Helped out today by Jan Cross on this side. Vanderwall. And they're into double figures. It's taken a little too long. Bruce to Vanderwall. Moore. Bruce did well to stay in. Vanderwall. Not much luck for Queensland. Oh, Moore and Kennedy. That was a good chase. Two of the quicker players on court.
One of the things the Victorians are doing well is bringing the ball out of their defence end right through to their attack end. They're letting it go and strong onto it, and we've got the turnover there. Southby picking up a loose pass.
O'Donnell finds Howie. Southby.
Ball across to Sue Howie. Nice stretch from Southby, who finishes it for them.
So, Alexander. Her team up by 10. On their way to the final, it would seem. Howie. Arnott. Bounce pass in for Southby, who wants to be closer yet, but it's Arnott. And the contact is against Sally Millard, so Southby, the shot.
Where you are.
Howie. O'Donnell, quick turn, and interesting tactic employed by Southey, just letting it roll a little closer, something that Natalie Avellino's mastered in the last couple of seasons.
Certainly has. It's very annoying for the defenders because you just can't get near that ball.
Oh, nice move from Kirsten Moore, shrugged off the defender. Vanderwall.
Well played by the Queenslanders there. Some good ball movement, letting the ball go to each other.
Southby leading out. Howie. Oh, Arnott drives to the post. Nice play, both ends. The crowd appreciates this lovely standard netball.
Nice ball in here from Susan Howie. Good look, good ball in from the drive to Arnott.
Lynch has picked it up at the other end to send Victoria going forward again. Richardson. And Southby just a little quicker on that occasion than Garrett. Howie. Arnott to Southby. And Norma Plummer on the right. And the new Australian under-21 coach.
Yes, recently appointed, so she'll be looking at the Australian under-21 players in this team, in this game.
Southby had that ball slapped away by Garrett. And they're really starting to pull away from Queensland now. A lead of 14.
Construction goal attack.
Vanderwall. Millard. Moore. Tollinaire has to get right away from the post. And Richardson takes an easy intercept.
As I said earlier, the Victorians are looking for every ball they can possibly find. Oh, well played by the Queensland defenders.
Yeah, good desperation from Millard. Contact against Tollinaire. O'Donnell. Lots of touches. O'Donnell. And Arnott. I think Southby's is an interesting shooting action, Lisa, more so than many other goalers. Hers looks like a two-handed release, like both hands seem to stay on the ball for longer than many other shooters.
Yeah, she does, but, you know, shooting's not something that you have to do specifically in one way, and a bit of individuality, and that helps in that, you know, no one can actually pick up the best thing to do on the shots.
Now, the right hand is dominant in the setup, and then it seems like a two-handed release. It's an interesting action from Southby. Certainly effective, 28-12. And we've been watching through the first quarter and the early stages of the second, a 2-to-1 ratio. It's more than that now. And again, it lips out. Vanderwall should convert, though. 3 minutes left until half-time. Victoria travelling nicely, as they have been all week. I think 1986 or so was the last time Victoria won the Open title.
I unfortunately remember that rather well, Steve.
You weren't responsible, were you?
I was in the New South Wales team that was, yeah, put out at the wrong time. It's the first year they introduced semi-finals, and we went through the tournament undefeated and lost the semi-final, so didn't even get to play in the grand final.
Vanderwall. Less said, the better, Lisa.
Construction wing defender.
Tollinaire.
Took a long time to set herself then, but obviously much better for it. The ball dropped nicely.
Howie across to Kennedy. O'Donnell. I just think Southby's also, Lisa, got some nice moves for a tall girl. She moves well, and certainly been able to fool Garrett on many occasions. Bruce on the stretch, good take.
There's no love lost out, is there?
No.
They're all going flat out for that ball. And, you know, if I was Lisa Alexander at three-quarter time, I might be asking my players just to pull off a little bit and protect themselves for tomorrow.
There's no lack of commitment out there. 16-goal margin and no hint of pulling back. Bruce. Kennedy. Howie gets under the defender with an effective bounce pass. Oh, they're just doing everything so nicely, Victoria. Southby. Millard. Out to Liso. Just a little short of options, Queensland. They need a few more players running into space looking to receive it. I mean, that said, the defence is just outstanding. Tolanair.
Well, I suppose if you're Liz White at this stage, I'd be looking to Amanda Grassick to start to inject herself a bit more in the play and, you know, really get involved. I think she's taking some easy options and just sort of coming around the back of the player rather than getting out there and working that ball.
Amanda Grassick being Amanda Vanderwall. A few of these players, they get married, they should keep their maiden name.
They certainly should.
And that's half-time. And again, the 2-to-1 ratio being maintained by Victoria, who are sweeping towards a place in the final with an impressive display against Queensland. So at half-time, they lead the Queenslanders 31-15. Well, it's a long way back for Queensland, 31-15. And Lisa Wilson, I can't see how they can do it, not the way Victoria are playing so well, especially through Southby's shooting again.
Yeah, shooting great. 9 from 11 for 81%. Danny Arnott's continuing her form with 7 from 11 for 63. While at the other end, young Michelle Tolanair has shot 5 from 8 for 62. And the player that I believe is going to get more into the game if Queensland can do anything, Amanda Vanderwall, shot 3 from 5 for 60.
13 opportunities to 22 really tells the story of possession. And a couple of other stats we could tell you about turnovers. Queensland losing it 28 times, Victoria 19. Tells you where some of the possessions coming from. Also, well, penalties 16 and 24. Not so much in that.
Goal defence. Penalty pass. 3 players out, obstructing.
And coming on for Victoria, a couple of changes. Michelle Bennison at wing attack, replacing Shelley O'Donnell. Liz Taverner at goalkeeper. Janine Lynch getting the early rest.
Shelley's actually moved into the centre, so I'd say the Victorian lineup would be what we'd expect to see tomorrow night.
So it's actually Susie Howie who's gone off.
Contact. Penalty pass.
Tolanair.
Barnage contact centre.
Well, she let her take a step into the circle because contact against O'Donnell. It's interesting ruling.
Well, you know, we often say that the umpires don't play the advantage often enough, and that time we had a good advantage from the umpire.
Arnott.
Barnage using the post.
Advantage using the post, said Janelle Derrington. I think that this week, Lisa, we've seen a lot of that from defenders, giving the post a bit of a nudge, either for support or perhaps to put off the shooter. I mean, I don't know what the intention is, but I think just this week we've seen a lot of movement of the post.
Steve, you're not trying to say that the defenders are trying to come up with a new ploy, are you?
Those dirty guys, yeah.
No, often, you know, the movement in there's a lot of people around, and you will bash the post, and hopefully if you're going to bash it, it's the shooter you bash into the post, not yourself. So if the movement of the post affects the shot, then there should be another shot taken.
Look, I'm with you in wanting the umpires to play more advantage. I just thought that was an interesting one, allowing the centre to put a foot over the line, having been given the nudge. So allow one rule to be transgressed to sort of make up for another one. Bears a fuller discussion some other time. Anyway, 33-17. 3 minutes gone in the third. 34-17.
Barnage breaking. Goal
O'Donnell in the centre now. Benison gave a wicked pass to Southby, and she got the rebound off Southby's foot.
Contact on the arm, keeper. Shot or pass.
Contact on the arm against Kylie Garrett.
Queensland.
Van der Waal to Moore.
Barney's offside.
Van der Waal. And Taverner with the easy rebound.
Much better defence from the Queenslanders through the middle here, making it really hard. You see Benison's had to come out a couple of times to get that ball.
Arnott. Classic shot from Danny Arnott.
Victoria. Barney's obstruction, goal defence and contact, Wayne.
Benison.
Barney's obstruction, keeper. Contact, keeper. Shot or pass.
And Southby now. .20 still the lead for Victoria. Well, Queensland looked to have come out with more enthusiasm, but Taverner pulled out of the challenge. I think Tracy Bruce thought she was going to be right with her, hence the palm on.
But the interesting part about that was that she used a voice and just, made out that she was coming through for it. Tracy, not being the biggest player on court, decided I'm not getting involved here and pushed it out.
Well, not that Tracy had much to lose, but she's actually lost a little bit of weight. She's been a bit unwell, I believe.
Movement here from Eloise Southby. Yes, nice movement. Just a quick little dodge behind Garrett. And the shot comes through.
Van der Waal forced to wait. Taverner. What's she lost? Scrunchy. Something out of her hair.
Good hands from Tracy Bruce there, reading where the pass would go.
Play.
Richardson throw in to Benison. Oh, over the top of Southby.
Southby did really well then to get up. The height that she can get on that standing jump, is one of her big assets.
Garrett, Bruce, Van der Waal, and Richardson was wearing a
Contact, wing attack.
More to Tollenair. Van der Waal, edge of the circle. This will be a beauty if it drops. It won't do it. Kennedy O'Donnell. Richardson. And Benison into Southby.
And the bit.
Just seem to have more options, Victoria. More players running onto the ball.
The ball comes here nicely. Michelle Benison's got open court. Finds Southby. The goals.
Victoria just look less flustered when their first option is shut down, Lisa. There's a second and a third one presenting itself.
Certainly is, and as we saw then, the Queensland defenders just pull off and aren't actually putting the hand pressure over Michelle Benison. I mean, she had an open circle. She could have done anything with the ball in that situation, so the pressure isn't there on them.
Arnott and Southby. Arnott receives from O'Donnell second time around. Van der Waal and Bruce.
They've just closed Tollenair's right out of this game. The ball, as you said before, the first look in, she's not covered. The second look in, she's not covered. Victorian defenders have done a great job in shutting down the young shooter.
Contact shooter.
And a contact against her this time, and she'd be excused for some frustration. A match where they've been denied so much possession and lost a fair bit of what little they've had.
Barney's offside, wing defence.
Arnott.
Nice long shot from Arnott.
I think Danny Arnott, with her shooting style, is like a left-handed version of Nicole Cusack. A really high delivery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, as you said, yeah, it is a high delivery, and I think doesn't get the height of Nicole Cusack, so I often think she's gone for rain on a few of her shots, but no, that's their style. And as I said, I think it's great that the individuality of the shooters comes through.
Advantage offside.
Touch from Richardson. Hands are up there quickly, but not quickly enough to grab it.
There you are.
Richardson, of course, a representative softballer. He's done well to juggle 2 sporting careers.
Forward. Victoria.
(46-21), and looking at a similar margin to when they met in their last of the crossover pool matches. 66-37 to Victoria was the final score there. 2:50 left in the third quarter.
Centre third.
Kennedy, O'Donnell, Southby.
Goalkeeper. Shot or pass.
And Garrett, in her duel with Southby, has attracted a fair bit of whistle.
Certainly has, and I wouldn't say that was unfair with Slaver. I think that, you know, she's got a lot of potential and has done a lot of good work for herself, Garrett, over the years, but it's still tidy up quite a few body movements.
Bruce. Tollidaire wanted it, just pointing to herself, saying, me. She's got it, and doesn't let them down. I think shooters have to give their feeders that kind of confidence, don't they? Let them know that they want it.
And Ben, as you said also, well done, Sally Millard, looking for that ball coming through there.
Play.
Benison to
Advantage offside.
Southby.
Wing defence. Contact goal third.
And they're closing in on 50. Out the back, warming up, is Dana Croato. And Jocelyn Bryant might get a quarter of action. I'm sure Lisa Alexander wouldn't mind a rest for one of her 2 shooters. But having used 2 replacements, she can only use 1 more.
Tollinaire's.
Goal third. Advantage contact.
Tollidaire. Well, how many times has she been free at the post? Not many.
No, it was nice play from the Queenslanders.
Van der Waal. Richardson, oh, well played. And gets the benefit of the whistle too. Deserved it. She was there.
Where you are.
Well done, Richardson. Kept the eyes on the ball. Gets the ball in the penalty.
Arnott. O'Donnell. Back to Richardson.
Contact goalkeeper. Shot or pass.
And the Queensland subs warming up as well. Clark, Sampson and Matthews.
You're in front. Goalkeeper, please stand
Well,
up straight.
at 48-24, inside the last minute of the third quarter, match as good as over. Those players may as well be given a run.
Yeah, let them come out and get the experience of playing internationals. For a couple of them, it's their first nationals, so they're youngsters and they'll be around for Queensland, so put them out there.
And 3/4 time blown by Janelle Derrington. And Victoria, as they did in the first 2 quarters, continuing to improve the lead. And Queensland on their way out, Victoria to the final, 49-24 at 3/4 time. Some changes made at 3/4 time. We'll get to them shortly, but how about this shooting from Victoria, Lisa?
I mean, they've had 19 attempts for the quarter and scored 18. With a great quarter from their goal attack, Danny Arning shooting 100%, 9 from 10 for Southby, while the Queensland shooter, young 20-year-old Michelle Tellanaire, 9 from 11, and goal attack, Amanda Van der Waal, 0 from 2.
Tracy Bruce for Queensland has moved forward to wing attack. As we look at Amanda Van der Waal, and 2 subs on for Queensland. They've got a new wing defence in Leanne Matthews and a new centre in Karen Clark.
We're seeing some good intercepts from the defenders to start the quarter. Just look to see when Victoria can finish this nicely. good long shot from Arnott.
Clark getting a touch early. Bruce. And a good drive in from Van der Waal.
Instruction. Shuttle pass.
So,
Victoria.
Kirsten Moore on the right there, toweling down. She's put in a big effort. Wing attack.
Offside. Contact. Penalty pass outside the
And
circle,
we
wing
could
fence
forgive Victoria for just coasting home in this last quarter, looking after themselves for the final. Arnott.
Held. Great pass.
And we have one of my favourite calls.
Yes, at last, a 3-second call for you. Against one of the goalers. Well, Arnott, she really does milk the 3, doesn't she?
She certainly does. Uses the full 3 seconds, 3.5 or 4, some defenders might say, but that's her shooting style and it works for her.
Contact and goal defence, just inside.
And that's against Nikki Richardson in the circle. Van der Waal. Oh, good follow in. Presents it to Tollineer. Smile from Van der Waal there. We had no right to fish that back, but did. Clark. Tollineer. Oh, Van der Waal had no hope there. Whoops. That's in the bleachers. The roof here at Waverley is very high. It nearly touched it. Tollineer.
And offside wing.
Lots of natural light here. What have the players said to you, Lisa, about the playing conditions in this new complex? But certainly it looks the goods.
Yeah, it does. I mean, as you said, lots of natural light. The lighting itself is very good. A shot from Arnott. The floor is a sprung board, which is what we want. I mean, yeah, as you can see the whole stadium there, and the seating's close enough to the court to keep the atmosphere there. So it is a good all-round stadium. I mean, if we're looking to design a couple of things, there'd be a few structural changes we'd make as far as change rooms and that.
It's an environmentally friendly stadium from the point of view that it does make use of as much natural light as possible, cuts down the amount of power they have to use. And I particularly like how light it is, you know, with the light colours and the terrific floor they've got.
The stadium also has won a couple of awards, a BHP Steel Award. So, you know, there's obviously been a lot of thought go into the planning of it and a lot of hard work by Ian George to get this sort of centre built.
Southby, Benison. And during the day, they really do have to use next to no electricity to light the place. Richardson. Benison. Oh, it was nearly the right one, but Millard read it well.
Oh, and Kennedy's read that one very well.
Stayed in the centre third, and the appreciative Victorian crowd lets her know she did well.
Contact.
Contact against Sally Millard. Arnott the shot. Southby the rebound. Van der Waal, Bruce.
You're watching from Richardson to take that ball and then plays on and drives down to help the team out.
Well, were Janine Lynch not well enough to take a place in the final, they wouldn't be losing much with Nikki Richardson. Pretty versatile player too. Seen her more often in the mid-court in recent years.
Yeah, she is a versatile player and a player that's been, I suppose, unlucky in the sense that she's always had a couple of players before her, and obviously in the centre court area she's got 2 Australian players, Shelley O'Donnell and Simone McInnes, and you know, both of them excellent players, and she just hasn't been able to break it through there.
Oh, kept in. Well done, Clark. Matthews, Van der Waal, Bruce. 9.5 minutes to go.
Taverner did a great job there, just really put them in 2 minds.
It's a call against Kennedy, so still with Queensland. Van der Waal. Nothing but string there at 54-29. It's not a match that can be pulled out of the fire for the Maroons, I'm afraid. Clark. Hands up from Kennedy, but obstruction. So the Australians, it looked like they're keeping score. Would they do that, Lucy?
Well, it varies. Some of them like to keep their own stats, and whether it's keeping score or who's defending who or what, you're not entirely sure. Who knows with some selectors?
That'll get back. Yes, but as the ball went through, they all had their heads down, making a marker. I suppose it's to track the shooting success of the goalers.
Well, not just that. They also look at, the possession down court, and, while the shot's going up, it's probably the best time to write down if you've seen something that you'd like to work at or you're happy about.
Where the goal attack is.
Vanderwall. Tough day at the office for Queensland. Southby.
Finishes a nice down court play.
Vanderwall to Bruce. Suppose you thought that was a fat 3 seconds too, did you?
I was actually thinking there was an unlucky shot. They really have had some bad luck with those shots, the Queensland shooters, with a lot of them rolling around and bouncing out.
How often do you see that though, Lisa? The team that really needs them to drop, and they're a 50-50 ball that stays out. Luck rides with the team in front. Jan Cross. I think Australia lucky to have such a pool of experienced umpires. Jan's been umpiring at this level for a number of years. So come the final, they've got a pool of good umpires to choose from.
There's some good up-and-coming umpires too. I mean, Janelle Darrington was a player until a few years ago. Annette Smith's another one that was a player till a few years ago. So there's some players that have now taken that turn, and I think that's very good for the game, and that they have an understanding and a reading of the game.
.29 the lead. 3:30 to go. So whatever happens in the final, Victoria doing a little better than last year. I think they would have been disappointed with their finish in '94.
Extremely disappointed. A fourth placing was something that Victorians did not find they liked or were quite happy to sit with, and they've come out this year and really proved themselves to be better than that.
O'Donnell chases that one down.
Possession call from Jan Cross, so the player that has the ball actually has to take the pass.
Advantage obstruction, shooter.
Clark.
Advantage obstruction,
Millard.
shooter.
Vanderwall.
Contacting keeper, shot or pass on the hand.
And Tollinaire. Lovely to watch. Kennedy. Anderson across to Arnott. Well, kept it in to whose advantage?
Contact, shooter.
And we'll go against Southby.
Clark's got to learn to look down court when she takes that ball. Saw herself just facing had one person in mind.
Tollinaire back out to Bruce. Vanderwall passes to Taverner. An air ball.
I don't think our statistician has agreed with you on that pass there,
Yeah,
Steve.
no. It was a shot by any other name.
Contact. Wing it. Where you are.
O'Donnell.
Contact. Pass the shot.
So under a minute and a half to go. Southby will just be wanting to make sure she finishes the match intact. She's got...
Debbie.
I hope they've got some good spars where they're staying, because I think she's going to need it to get a few lumps and bumps out.
Oh, yes, Garrett's let her know she's been in a contest today.
Throw in Queensland.
Matthews to take the throw-in.
Play.
Just getting back to that point you're making about umpires, I'm sure players, as they do in other sports, appreciate if the officials come from having played at the top level and they really understand, you know, what the players are experiencing, interpretation of rules as the players see it, as well as from the book.
Yeah, I think it's healthy that players that, you know, want to go ahead and...
Contacting centre. Queensland.
Down goes Shelley O'Donnell. Ouch. Not too much give, even in a sprung floor.
Forward stick.
You see Richardson actually come out for that ball, but wipes out her own player, Shelley O'Donnell.
Shuttle pass. Just inside.
Shelley's had worse.
Throw in Victoria.
Timekeeper gets up and will shortly end the agony for Queensland. We'll go into the playoff for third and fourth. Victoria into the final. They always expected to get there prior to this match, and they more than did the job. A terrific performance from the Victorians. Should give them a lot of confidence going into the title decider for 1995. They led at every change and had the goods today to defeat Queensland, the tune of 61-34.